think we need very much to involve our citizens more in some of the future-minded decisions that we have. I think we have some plans that could be improved, that were conceived in a different economy when times were good and we were in a growth spurt. I think that we maybe need to revisit the balance between the board of directors, the board of trustees, and the village administrator's office, with an eye toward maybe better involvement in spending decisions and personnel and staffing level decisions. And I think we need to really double down on our effort to bring more jobs and more economic growth to the area. There are a lot of people doing a lot of hard work. It's not that this area is being neglected, but it's an area that we all must pitch in and help with. The competition is fierce. We very much need a boost to our economy here. It's to the village board can contribute to this effort, and citizens can contribute to this effort. You may know of a company that's thinking about locating or relocating or establishing an expanded facility. Your neighbor may know that. Those comments can flow to the village government or to the MEDC, and sometimes very good things can come from that. But we must take this effort to grow our economy very seriously. I don't think that we can tax our way out of this situation or increase fees as a tool to get our way out of this situation. We've got to grow our business base, both the business that we have and the business that we might be able to recruit.
Thank you. Matt Brown.
People hit on this a lot, but I do think that as a village we need to reassess some of our codes and ordinances that we currently have in place that, like my opponent said, were conceived in a different time period. As a member of the Plan Commission over the last few years, we have made some movement in that direction. We've made recommendations for changes to the landscape ordinance, the sign ordinance, and the tree replacement ordinance for starters that will alleviate some of the stress on our businesses, our new businesses and existing ones. So I think that's a good step that we can make. Also, I'd like to see us move forward with being more residentially friendly. I use that term a lot. I kind of mean there are some areas in town where some of our codes might not be the same for everybody. And I know much of my friends moved into places and they can't get out of them now. So we do have a lot of residents right now that maybe weren't planning on living in their house for 5 or 10 years, but now they have to. So they could have lived with some things before. Maybe we need to look at that just so we can do exactly what we're doing for our businesses and make it easier on people and make them enjoy their time in the village of Montgomery. Thank you.
Jean Felton.
Thank you. In terms of anything unique, I don't know that I could really sit here and say there's anything that we need to do unique. I think right now the key factors and the areas we need to focus on are getting our growth and our development going again. And again, unfortunately, a lot of that is out of our control. We have been lucky in that our sales tax revenue already has hit our projected level for this year, and we've got, I believe, 4 more payment cycles to go in that, so we are seeing some improvement on that side. But I think we just need to work on getting our subdivisions going again, getting especially our retail and commercial areas, getting those going again. We're starting to see a little bit of activity, but I also agree, I don't think that taxes are necessarily the way to accomplish what we need to accomplish. I think the growth with the sales tax and getting the new residents in here, getting the construction going, and getting those builder tap-on fees, and that type of income is what's going to really help us.
Okay. Martin Flowers.
What unique things do I think the village needs to do? Well, I think we need to begin to look at thinking outside the box. We've all discussed being more community friendly and all these different things. These are important things that we need to address. But what are we going to do? What kind of jobs do we want to create that are going to keep our people here in Montgomery and spend their tax dollars? Well, once upon a time, Montgomery was known for industry. We can get there again. We need to be aggressive in pursuing what are the things that we can do as a region to bring jobs here to put people back to work. That has to be our top priority. We have to be very responsibly and fiscal in how we're approaching our budgets. How do we do that? Well, we have hard decisions to make over the next few years because we have to ensure that we have the resources to address our long-term plan. Starting with that, what is our long-term plan? Looking at the Douglas Road corridor, One example, once upon a time, that was the economic engine of the village. Over the last decade, we've lost that. But my understanding is, we are starting to see some movement down there. We also have from starting up by around Westfall Chevrolet, coming down Route 30. What are we going to do with the Route 30 corridor? What are we going to do with the open space, while also addressing, since we all want to be environmentally friendly, what are we going to do with our old institutions of this village? There are resources out there. I know the village is looking for them, but we as a village board can set the way to become a leader in municipal government. And that starts again with working with our regional plan. Thank you.
Josh Salisbury.
Well, to touch on what all of my opponents have said so far, the board and the village do need to seek out ways to get businesses to come to Montgomery. One of the ways to do that would be to give, on a case-by-case basis, reviewed by the board, maybe a tax break to certain businesses. But this would have to be on a case-by-case basis, because you want to look at it and see if a business comes in here, you want to make sure they're going to stay here. The other things we need to look at are the ordinance codes, really take a look at a lot of those and change them. If we need to change them, let's change them to keep businesses here and keep new businesses coming in, because that will also keep our taxes on our residents down.
Thank you. And Robert Waterman.
What direction would I like to see the village take? I think first we have to assess what is reality. And reality is a very sour economy right now. We have to be compassionate to the individual residents that, and I'm sure everybody has had financial difficulties or reduction. If you're a senior citizen, so the price of milk and fuel and Social Security hasn't been the same. What I'm getting at is keeping our taxes in check. You know, sometimes very difficult decisions have to be made and certain things have to be put off, but you do so in looking at the whole scheme of things. We've, over the course of 10 years, had a 20% reduction in our tax rate. We've had to cut significantly from our budget, and we've been able to keep the level of services that the residents have always maintained. In going forward, in terms of job growth, we have to look at what are our opportunities. As was stated before, Douglas Road was a commercial corridor. We have some vacant space there, which we can realize sales tax dollars. But where are the large sales tax dollars, and where do they come from? They come from selling automobiles. We have only limited areas where we can improve. One of them is on the far west side. One of them is in the downtown area. The park and ride. If we can establish transportation in terms of the park and ride, we'll be able to bring in new businesses that will support the people that are there. It is something that's an opportunity. We have to. It's easy to say let's bring in businesses, but it's how we're going to do it.